President of the Milwaukee Press Club. This year we're knighting our special guest, Huetta Manion, remotely, but we're still ready to celebrate. The Knight of the Bohemia is similar to the Knights of the Golden Quill, an honor rarely bestowed. But unlike the Golden Quill, this honor is given to a community leader who is not affiliated with the media. Previous knights include Joe and Jennifer Bartolotta, John Gerda, and Willie G. Davidson. If we were at our beloved newsroom pub tonight, we would raise our glass for Huetta. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yep.
For her contribution to the community and to our club. So I encourage everyone who is interested to grab a glass and be prepared to celebrate. You may also want to be ready to say a few words about Huetta and her contributions. There will be time later. I would like to thank the Manions, especially Teresa and Mary Manion, Huetta's daughters, for all help in tonight's program. And now I would like to introduce David Niles. David is a past president of the Milwaukee Press Club and MPC's Endowment Board Treasurer. He's also a longtime MC of this knighting ceremony. David?
Thank you, Corey. Sure wish we could all be together in person, but certainly very glad we can be together this way and honor someone who has been a tremendous friend of the Press Club for many, many years. So we begin. Looks like Joette's doing something there. Can you still hear me?
I can hear you.
Great, good. It has been customary throughout the ages that before a knight is invested, the candidate properly prepare for the occasion through a vigil. This is a time for introspection, a time to consider the responsibilities and joys of accepting the accolade. It is a time for contemplation and consideration of the counsel of ancient, wise, and grave gentlefolk, a time for cleaning the spirit and the body. We trust our candidate has fulfilled these obligations. Teresa?
Yes, Huetta has.
Thank you. On to hearing our peer spokespeople. There are among us this evening members of the circles of the Knights of Bohemia and the circle of the Knights of the Golden Quill and our peers. We now beg such peers and loyal knights to offer testimony on behalf of our humble candidate and ask whether our candidate, Huetta Manion, is free to take the oath and accept the responsibilities of knighthood, and whether the candidate is beholden to any other allegiance. Who now among you speaks for Huetta Manion? And it's all yours, people.
I'll start.
Go ahead, Sue.
Okay. Many years of tremendous support of the City of Milwaukee birthday party. Scotty was so instrumental in making that such a wonderful gala event. She's really the Pearl Mesta of Milwaukee, by the way, if anybody remembers who Pearl Mesta is. Scotty, through Landmarks Gallery, I think helped, maybe the Manions can tell us how many plaques were signed by people that Scotty brought to the Press Club. Very prominent artists, celebrities. She was very instrumental in that. I also, on a personal note, want to say that behind me, you see a bunch of framed pictures. Every one of them was framed at Landmarks Gallery, and that's just a small portion of my house. But really, Scotty, there wasn't an event that she didn't support with both her time, her talents, and her money. Great deserving of this honor.
Do we hear from someone else?
Yes,
go right ahead.
Okay. Actually, Roger, I'll defer to you.
That is true to me because of my age, there's no doubt.
That's exactly right.
I knew Scotty in the 70s, and those are the 1970s, not the 1870s. And when I became president in 1980, I didn't realize what an assistant I had. I mean, she was a member's member, I think. She was supportive in every way of the club. She helped me get the Hall of Fame started. And through the years when the club went on a rampage around town trying to find a headquarters, she continued to be supportive and hold meetings and bring artists into the club that she entertained at the club. It was her club. So there's no one I would think any more deserving than she is. And I'm just surprised. We should be ashamed for him not to have done it before this.
Thank you, Roger. Jim?
I'll just echo what Roger said. This is when I became president a few years after Roger, I got to know Landmarks Galleries. I got to know Scotty and her family, and I have to tell you, every time I went in there, I heard a great story from Scotty, or had if the store was busy, she always paused and said, "Oh, this is for the press club," and that's great. And often I would hear a story about her squaring the Michael Bloomberg around town, or just her enthusiasm for the club. And that really struck me and really stuck with me. And I just really wanted to say hats off and congratulations, and thank you so much for all of your years of support for the club and for our community, and for having such a special store. We really enjoyed it, and thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Anyone else?
Yes, this is Carl. Can you hear me, David?
I can hear you, Carl. Go ahead.
All right. Well, I have a confession to make. When I first heard the name Scotty Manion, I assumed it was a man. And Roger, you're old enough to remember 1970, 71, because up until 71, the press club was men only members. And it was Scotty and a lot of other women who helped convince the men that if they didn't start allowing women in as members, the press club was doomed. And I think it's fair to say since then, women have been the real strength of the club up until even today, and have contributed a great deal. And I would put Scotty first and foremost in that leadership group of women. Thank you for keeping this press club alive, and arguably the oldest press club in the nation, still surviving and doing quite well, thank you. But we certainly owe a lot to our predecessors. So yeah, I agree. I can't think of anybody more deserving to be in this elite group, often referred to as a confraternity of irreligious drainpipes. But nevertheless, I would certainly welcome her addition and agree with everything that's been said thus far. But I have a question. I'd like to know when she became a member, if anybody knows.
I don't remember.
Well, the first
Remember the press club? Yeah.
I bet she was there when the first woman member, August of 1971, signed a plaque, and that was Roger, a young woman named Mary Spletter, if you remember her.
Yeah.
I was one of the first women to be admitted in the club as well, and I know Scotty was right there along with all of us who, by the way, protested for membership outside the club.
Thanks for doing that, because as I said, since then, women have been the real strength of the press club.
Right. Scotty was right up there. Scotty,
including our current president, by the way. So just, yeah.
Great. Do we have other testimony on Huetta's behalf?
Well, what more do you need, David?
Well, don't need much more, but I do want to mention that Landmarks Gallery not only has framed a lot of things for us, but they also cleaned the notorious painting of Emma, which hangs in the newsroom club, and which we finally realized doesn't belong there and didn't really have anything to do with the press club. But Landmarks also managed the sale of that painting, which netted some nice proceeds for the endowment. So we're now using that money for scholarships. So I also want to thank Huetta and the team at Landmarks for facilitating that sale.
From 1414520.
Excuse me.
Looks like Roswell.
Zoom call.
That's the extended warranty phone call for your audio.
Yeah,
Do we have any other testimony on behalf?
we do if Carl Miller is completed.
He is.
Okay, hi, this is Rosalind Rouse. I was one of the first women to also serve on the board thanks to our pathfinders, Huetta, Scotty, and Sue Reardon in 1980, as early as 1984. And as a young hobby reporter, I got to sit with the big muckety mucks like Ken Raceline and Carl Miller, and I could drop names, but thank you for leading the way and getting us in. I remember when I got my first radio job in Green Bay, the wife of our news director was a lead reporter at the Green Bay Press Gazette because WBAY TV would not allow women to anchor in 1974. It had to be all men, but things have changed. Carl, as you were saying, sorority, that's what I was thinking about. The press club has brought me some of my best friends through time, and especially Scotty, who was always there to be so friendly and introduce me to people. I thank you for that. At all of the at events and a calm, cheerful spirit, always very well spoken. And eventually I chaired the Gridiron for several years, you know, in the 80s and 90s. So you taught me well, and I do appreciate everything. From a personal standpoint, I live, 25 blocks east of the Landmarks Gallery, and I'm so sorry that you've closed. However, congratulations on a wonderful, wonderful run there. How interesting to hear the history of your gallery. And I want to say is that, Scotty, your people helped restore many of the artwork that my mother's relatives had in Chicago, and a lot of needlework that my great-grandmother had needlework that she had made in Austria. And there's one hanging in my dining room right here. The fall print is over there. So thanks for enriching my life in many ways. I wish you the very best. And thank you so much for hugging the press club and never letting go. So congratulations. I hereby endorse the nomination.
Thank you, Roz. Do we have any others? Are there any others who would speak for or against this candidate's inclusion in the circle of the Knights of Bohemia? Hearing none, Huetta, right mindful of your prowess in the field and in response to the wishes of your peers and our circle of knights, we are minded to make you a knight. Know you well that to adopt the ways of a knight is to hold a sacred trust, and that the obligations of knighthood will demand your efforts every moment of your life. A knight of the circle must accept the counsels of the wise. A knight of the circle must respect all weaknesses and constitute herself the defender of them. A knight of the circle must not recoil before her enemies. A knight of the circle must never lie and must remain faithful to her pledged word. A knight of the circle must give of her wealth and knowledge. A knight of the circle must be everywhere and always the champion of the right and the good against injustice and evil. The laws of the circle and the customs of this group require that a knight be proud, as you have demonstrated upon the field, that a knight be courteous, as you have shown yourself to be, and that a knight be loyal to her community and to the circle. Do you then desire to accept the burden of knighthood? Teresa?
Yes, Huetta accepts.
Thank you. Harold, please direct that the tools of adubement be brought forth. Thank you, that's my wife. We charge our candidate to remain strong, avoiding the scandals of the body, gluttony, sloth, and lechery, that she might retain a purity of purpose. Now we ask our candidate's representative, Teresa, to swear on our candidate's behalf fealty and to pay homage to this community that the Circle of the Knights of Bohemia defends and sustains. Teresa?
Yes, Huetta Manion swears her fealty and does homage to this community to ever be a good knight and true, courteous at all times, foremost in business, shield of the weak, and champion of the right and the good. Thus she swears.
Thank you. Huetta, 10, being mightier than the sword. I dub thee once in remembrance of oaths given and received. I dub thee twice in remembrance of your heritage and obligations. I dub thee thrice and charge thee, be thou a good knight. Now hear these words we proclaim and charge that you publicly display. Jim Nelson will read them. Jim Nelson.
The Order of the Knights of Bohemia. Throughout its many years of existence, the Milwaukee Press Club has maintained certain special honors or orders, which at appropriate times are conferred on persons of unusual and deserving repute. Among those awards is the Order of the Knights of Bohemia, the most esoteric and rarely bestowed citation, which includes the complimentary honor of life membership in the club. Only those who have won laudable reputation in civil, social, military, or scientific endeavors are considered valid candidates for investiture in this order. For her love of journalism, stemming back to her undergraduate days at Marquette University and in other endeavors following graduation. For her support of the Milwaukee arts and cultural communities through the operation of Landmarks Gallery, which served the community for 54 years. For her dedication and longtime membership of the Milwaukee Press Club, including helping lead the city birthday party and incorporating visits to the club when renowned artists were in town. And for her efforts to help the Press Club preserve its legacy, including the historic collection of signatures and other invaluable artifacts. We have chosen Huetta, Scotty Manion, business and cultural leader, longtime friend of the Press Club, to receive by this indenture the Distinguished Order of Knights of Bohemia. With this plaque in honor and approval, go warm warning to this exalted circle of knights, and a sincere and fraternal greetings of the membership of the Milwaukee Press Club. On behalf of the Milwaukee Press Club board and membership, let me be the first to say, hear, hear. I hope I didn't jump the gun.
Thank you, Jim. Yeah, that's all right. You can have some if you want.
I'm on vacation.
Huetta, know now that you are made a knight, that you must succor the defenseless, seek justice for those of every nation, and maintain the honor of knighthood. We now ask Teresa to say a few words.
Well, my goodness, thank you, everyone. I want to thank, Huetta has asked me to speak on her behalf. So thank you to all the testimonials from Sue Reardon and Roger Stafford and Jim Nelson and Carl and Rosalind. We really appreciate all of those great memories and endorsements. And many thanks to David for that very befitting ceremony. And also we want to thank Corey Hess and Jim Nelson and Jean Miller and Joette Richards and the whole Press Club Board of Governors for making this knighting possible. So we have a quick story to share. When we were clearing out the Landmarks Gallery building this summer, we discovered a framed photo of Huetta with Roger Stafford and Mayor Meyer. Yes, Mayor Meyer. And we immediately knew what it was. It was from a City of Milwaukee birthday party, and it brought back many happy memories of all those years that Huetta co-chaired the city birthday parties and worked on other press club functions. And of course, we found this photo before we knew anything about this award, and it was, I guess, in a way, kind of a foreshadowing. So on behalf of Huetta, we are deeply grateful for this honor. We've been to enough press club functions to know that this is a very wonderful tribute. So the press club website lists the members of the Knights of Bohemia, and it was quite humbling for us to see the prestigious company that Huetta is now a part of. So the press club, as you've said so well, has always been very close to Huetta's heart, and she's always been very excited about diving into press club activities and supporting the press club. So this award means a lot to Huetta and to all of us. So we really want to thank the press club for this tremendous recognition, and really happy to hear that Mom will have lifelong membership in the press club.
Great, thank you. With that, we conclude our program with a special toast to Huetta. Welcome to the circle. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
And you see, I've got
Thank
my
you.
press club glass.
Yeah.
Thank you, David. Good to see everyone, friends. Cheers.
Good to see you, Roz.
Yep, you too.
Good night to all, and to all a good night.
Very appropriate.
And to
Thank
Scotty,
you.
the queen of the Knights.
There you go.
And let's have one more toast
Queen
to
of the
Scotty
night.
here.
Okay, cheers.
Here, Scotty.
Cheers.
Scotty.
Thank you.
Yeah, we didn't know about the drink part. We should have had a drink.
You still do that.
All right.
I made the assumption.
Well, that was a good assumption.
everybody.
Well, thank you,
Love
everyone.
you
We're
guys.
just
Thanks,
so delighted.
Joette.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Yes.
Thank you for
Okay,
being here.
bye-bye. Hey,
Thank you,
Judy.
David.
Congratulations, Scotty. Tim Flatley. Take
Yes,
care.
thank you very much, all of you. I
Congratulations,
really
everybody.
appreciate it. And thank you for all your time and trouble, and it's much appreciated. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Bravo.
David, love your outfit as
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.